Hey, friend. Welcome back to the Road to Happiness podcast. We're your hosts, Josh and Cassie Spurlock, and we are so glad that you tuned in to us today. And today we're going to talk about how to write an impact letter. And this was new to me. I wasn't really sure what this term meant. So, Josh, you're going to talk us through it. But before that, we're going to thank our sponsor, My Counselor Online, leading provider in faith-based mental health. So, Josh, I saw this. We were going to shoot this podcast, How to Write an Impact Letter. It goes along with one of the articles on our My Counselor Online website. And as I was reading through this and preparing to get on here, it just made so much sense. And I mean, in the work that I've done myself, naming things and owning things, and I'm excited to talk through. I think it's going to be a very practical tool for people that need it. So talk us through what an impact letter is and the pieces of it.
Yeah, so an impact letter is a honoring of and naming of the pain that is the result of various kinds of infidelity. So it's a heavy topic. A person writes a impact letter on the other side of full disclosure. So if you're in a recovery program, if you're doing counseling at My Counselor Online and you're doing infidelity work because of an affair or because of pornography, something of that nature, where there's been a sexual betrayal within the relationship, well, that has an impact. Like, we know it has a tremendous impact. But while we go through in the full disclosure process, really naming what happened, that's what the full disclosure process is focused on, is the who, what, when, where, not necessarily the why. That's part of what the therapy process does, is unpack and understand the why so we can prevent things from getting to this place again in the future. But the who, what, when, where, what happened. Following that, the betrayed spouse, the person on the other side of that who, what, when, where, sits down with themselves and their therapist and really reflects on and names, as part of the grieving process and the forgiveness process, and in hopes of, at the very least, being able to forgive and be free from carrying away and grieve the impact of what's happened. And in the best case scenario, being able to reconcile in relationship and move forward and have a healthy relationship in the forward. The impact letter is noticing and naming all the different ways that the infidelity and what's happened has robbed and taken from and impacted the betrayed spouse. And so it's a painful process, but it's a cleansing process. And it's one that leads to healing. Like, there's pain that's just for pain's sake, that no good comes out of it, right? Like, with self-inflicted pain, there's meaningless and senseless pain. But then there's purposeful pain. It's kind of like a surgery, right? That when, generally speaking, taking a sharp metal object and cutting into your body is a bad idea.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like, that's generally not a healthy thing to do. But if you've had a heart attack and you need open heart surgery, taking a scalpel and cutting open and using a saw and cutting through the chest bones in order to do that, it causes pain, but pain that leads to healing. And full disclosure is like that, and an impact letter is like that. These are not things that you ever want to do in your life. And they are painful and they are hard. And they lead to healing. And a lot like an open heart surgery, if you have a heart attack, you don't want to do open heart surgery on yourself. And it's just not a thing that you can do. Right.
I know. I was just thinking about the pain that you were talking about. I was like, pain for the purpose of pain. That's like when we try to hold hard things alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like those aren't getting solved. They're not getting metabolized
Yeah.
when we don't bear them with others.
Yeah, when the bomb has gone off in your relationship and there's discovery of infidelity of one sort or another, this isn't the kind of thing that you can heal from in a healthy way on your own. You just can't. You really need the expertise of a professional who has walked through these things with many, many others and knows the terrain, knows the procedure, knows the protocol for this kind of open heart surgery in order to bring healing to a relationship. The chances of survival for your relationship, if you don't get intervention from somebody that knows how to bring healing, is really low, like really low. And even
I
if you
just,
stay married, the relationship dies. Like these things don't go
right.
away. They live in the background and they haunt and haunt and haunt, but they don't have to. There is a process that involves full disclosure, that involves an impact letter, that involves kind of walking through reconciliation, transparency plan. Like there is a pathway that's reliable and brings healing even though it's a
Yeah, I
challenging
think,
one to walk.
yeah. And I think if you are in that space right now and you are hearing this, like there can be hope. There is hope. We have seen it over and over and over and over again. People that we've walked through that on the other side will say, that was so hard and so painful, but we are in a better place now that we have ever been before. And that actually has to be the result on the other side if you're both engaging the process and you're going to move forward in intimacy and you engage the steps well because you've discovered things about each other and shared hard things and become vulnerable and been brave together as a team in ways that you never had before. So it creates this growth and this intimacy that you never had before.
It really is bizarre. Like when you say, but it's so predictable. Like I love doing infidelity work. I've done thousands of hours of infidelity work in recovery with folks. And while I don't think there's few things that are more brutal and destructive than going through infidelity. Like it is, gut wrenching, disemboweling. It's some of the most painful stuff. When Proverbs talks about it being the grave and that it's not exaggerating, it is worse than the death of a loved one at times going through. It's really awful. But I love doing it because you get a front row seat to God doing what only He can and working miracles. Like He brings dead things back to life. He makes beautiful things out of things burnt to the ground, beauty out of ashes. Like you get to witness it, and it's amazing to see transpire. And having seen it repeatedly, you get to hold hope where hope feels unimaginable.
Yeah.
You get to
Yes.
hold that and go, no, I know what God can do here because I've seen it again and again. And I know this is a dark, dark season for you, but this isn't the last chapter. That Jesus
Yeah.
wants to write a redemptive story out of your life. And this is not the last chapter. So I just want to
Yeah.
encourage you if you're watching this, listening to this, because you're walking through that very dark place, A, don't do it alone. Just don't. That God has equipped people within the body to come alongside you and help you in this journey. And they know how to lead you forward through this hard, ugly, difficult season into the next chapter of your life, next chapter of your relationship, where you get to see Jesus's redemptive plan for you unfold. And that's what we're cheering you on for. It's why we're here. It's why we create these resources. It's why we provide therapy through My Counselor Online for this purpose to be used by God to bring about that healing in your life.
Yeah. And if you want more details, read the article. It talks through impact letter structure and strategy.
Yep. We're cheering you on. and we'll see you next time.